or render a salute if you are a veteran of the United States military, as we pay respect to our flag and country and honor America with the performance of our national anthem by Kim Atwater.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' bright glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Ladies and gentlemen, for 9 seasons, he's been the unmistakable voice of the Kansas Jayhawks, bringing the excitement of men's basketball, football, and baseball games to life for his beloved alma mater, a University of Kansas graduate from the class of 2002. He's lent his expertise to over 20 seasons of college baseball, earning him the prestigious title of Kansas Sportscaster of the Year. Now, without further ado, please welcome your host, Ryan Haney.
Easy, everybody. My table of Jayhawks not clapping us down after they saw my guns up. Don't worry, they're holstered down. But it's great to be here with you guys tonight. Thank you for joining us for this very special reception honoring Mr. Forrest Hoglund as the College Baseball Foundation's 7th winner of their most prestigious award, the George H.W. Distinguished Alumni Award. Before we kick things off here tonight, let's say a quick thank you and how about a round of applause for our band outside tonight, the Paseo Jazz Combo. We got some Paseo High School students and beyond next sort of we also have an exciting opportunity tied into our social media here this evening. If you become a new follower of us on Instagram, College Baseball Hall of Fame that is, you may be chosen as one of our 3 lucky winners here tonight of the Forrest Hoglund autographed baseball. Make sure you hit that follow button right now and get connected with us through Instagram. Just search @collegebaseball_HOF. @collegebaseball_HOF. You guys are big on Instagram, especially these tables up front. Make sure you log on right now, follow us, and you can walk out of here with a Forrest Hoglund autographed baseball. Please make sure to check your messages before the end of the night so you can avoid those winners and slide into your DMs. Really bring us in tonight. The Distinguished Alumnus Award honors the accomplishments of college baseball players who have achieved greatness, not only on the field, but especially off the diamond. It is named after its inaugural recipient, George H.W. who played baseball at Yale, and I think we all have a pretty good idea of what he went on to do with his life after that. Now, this year's winner didn't end up in politics like President Bush, but he has certainly made an impact, a profound one at that. We are proud to honor Mr. Forrest Hoglund from the University of Kansas. Playing third base for the Jayhawks, he decided to go into business instead of pursuing the opportunity to sign with the Yankees in their system. I think he probably made a wise choice. He's blazed an extraordinary path in business and raised a fortune for charitable organizations. He truly exemplifies what it means to be giving of time and resources to worthy causes, including the creation of the Hoglund Foundation, which we'll hear more about later tonight. Looking at the scope of Forrest's impact in Texas, in Kansas, and across the nation, there are few who rise to such a level of what he has done. Tonight, we celebrate Forrest's life and his achievements and bestow upon him the College Baseball Foundation's highest accolade, the George H.W. Distinguished Alumni Award. To kick things off here this evening, I'd love to welcome to the stage at this time the College Baseball Foundation's new leader. Let's hear it for our CEO and Executive Director of the College Baseball Foundation and Hall of Fame, Mr. Tom Jacobs.
Wow, what a night. Ryan, thank you. On behalf of the College Baseball Foundation and the College Baseball Hall of Fame, we want to welcome you to the George H.W. Award dinner tonight to honor Forrest Hoglund from the University of Kansas. This is really going to be a fun evening. First, I would like to recognize those members from our Board of Trustees who are with us here tonight. If you could raise a hand or a napkin when I call your name. And you'll be hearing from a couple of them a little bit later here in the show. First of all, our board chair, Greg Ramsey, who's actually backstage right now, will be up in a minute. Our vice chair, Rick Greenspan. Board members, Alfred White, Jana Hauser-Stevenson, and Gene Stevenson, who, by the way, also happens to be in the College Baseball Hall of Fame. We would also like to thank our partners in tonight's event for their very, very generous support. The Hoglund Foundation, the University of Kansas, our partners at Prairie Fire, and Visit Overland Park. Also our partners at Populous, McCown Gordon, and our media partner, Sports Radio 810 WHP. Before we get to the main event, I would like to take just a couple of minutes to say a few words about the College Baseball Hall of Fame, which is going to be located right here in Overland Park, Kansas, down the street at the Museum at Prairie Fire. We've recently completed phase 1 of the project with our partners at Populous, and we're engaged right now in our capital campaign to make the Hall of Fame a reality. The College Baseball Hall of Fame will showcase all of college baseball, talk about all levels of divisions, NCAA, NAIA, junior college, etc. And will be a place where we honor the past, we celebrate the present, and we hopefully inspire the future. This is where stories will be told and legacies preserved, including that of tonight's Bush Award honoree, Mr. Forrest Hoglund. Without further ado, we have a short video from our friends at Populous that shows you what is to come. Thank you. Congratulations again to Forrest and the Hoglund family, and I hope you all have a great evening. Thank you.
Honoring the past. Celebrating the present. And inspiring the future. As a vibrant hub of education, inclusion, and the enduring spirit of the game, this is more than just a Hall of Fame and museum. It's an experience that dreams are made of. Begin your journey that inspires, honors, teaches, and celebrates the greatest sport of all time. Be inspired by the legendary voices of coaches who have shaped champions. The Tunnel of Dreams unfolds historic memories and legendary milestones. Interactive showcases reveal heartfelt stories from families and teammates. A reverent sanctum filled with stories connecting Hall of Fame inductees. Share moments of the full journey for the champions who take the path to greatness. Stand in the footsteps of All-Americans and immerse yourself in the interactive awards gallery. Step into the shoes of your hero with virtual batting cages, then customize gear only available at the College Baseball Hall of Fame. Together, let's shape the future of college baseball and ensure its legacy continues to thrive for generations. Come share the dream.
How exciting is that? I am pumped. We're going to have the College Baseball Hall of Fame right here in Overton Park. So much excitement in Kansas City as a sports town. It's about to get even better. Big thanks to Tom Jacobs, everybody. Give it up for Tom one more time. Thank you, Tom, for all your hard work. We appreciate you so much. Our Hall of Fame is going to be amazing. All right, up next, let's welcome to the stage Mr. Craig Ramsey, the chair of the Board of Trustees for the College Baseball Foundation. Craig? Not only does he do a great job on the board, but he also has the most interesting tie-on tonight with an excellent backstory. Take it away.
Well, since you set that up, so you probably can't read this, but how many people get an aircraft carrier named after them? This is for George Bush, so pretty cool. So thank you. Well, welcome everyone to a very special celebration, to a very special college baseball player who went on to do amazing things and make incredible contributions to our community and this country. A big thank you also to the current donors to the Hall of Fame, as well as future donors and sponsors, and we're going to really need your help. I thought I'd give you a little summary of the origin of this award to give it context. Well, from the early days, the original founders of the foundation were looking to obviously recognize the best of the best in college baseball. Not unlike the Masters at Augusta National under the direction of Bobby Jones, their focus has been on amateurs. Very similar to the College Baseball Foundation, just focuses on the amateur game, the college game. But the foundation is looking for a well-known individual, very well respected, with impeccable credentials to showcase baseball, college baseball level winners that went on to have an amazing career and had an impact well outside of baseball. Someone who, would emulate the namesake of a prestigious award. So they created a short list with one person at the very top. A phone call was made to introduce the idea, and the former president was all in. No other call had to be made. As seen in some of these pictures from the inaugural event in 2014, President Bush was gracious, he was humble, and yes, thrilled to receive this award. He excitedly endorsed the usage of his name to benefit the College Baseball Foundation and Hall of Fame. We especially like this picture of him checking out the glove. He just wanted to confirm that the glove was actually his first baseman's mitt that he used. But Forrest Hoglund joins a short list of impressive individuals who have received this award, which includes obviously George Herbert Walker Bush, as previously mentioned, Dr. Bobby Brown, Congressman Roger Williams, Vin Scully, Dr. John Olerud, and Judge Felton Henderson. So, when the committee was going through the pipeline of candidates, one individual rose to the top. We had the privilege of having dinner with Forrest to notify him of the board's decision to recognize him with this prestigious award. And during that dinner, Forrest presented us with a silver coin, which he has shared with others to inspire them to live to this motto. If it is to be, it's up to me. Congratulations again to Forrest as our most recent Bush Award recipient. Before we go to video, though, you can't make this stuff up. I want to share a story that Gene Stevenson, you just heard, just shared with me. Now, as being part of the Hall of Fame, our responsibility is to tell our stories, to preserve the legacies. But this one, to me, sums up how much college baseball meant to President Bush. So, when he was first elected president, he was in the White House, and they asked his staff, so when are we going to have the 1989 College World Series team come to the White House to recognize them? The staff's response, we've never had a baseball team come to the White House. He said, well, we are now. So in 1989, led by legendary coach Gene Stevenson, the Wichita State Shockers were the first college baseball team to be recognized in the White House. So let me get out of here so we can play ball, but let's watch a short video that really tells the story of the Bush Award. Congratulations, Gene.
The George H.W. Bush Distinguished Alumnus Award is presented to a college baseball letter winner who distinguishes himself in life after college baseball. The award is a tribute to Mr. Bush, who played baseball at Yale from 1946 to 1948, and later served as the 41st President of the United States. The Bush Award trophy is a bronze sculpture designed by renowned artist Garland Weeks of Lubbock, Texas. The trophy depicts the hat worn by President Bush at Yale, as well as the Rawlings first baseman's mitt that he used as a player and kept in his Oval Office desk drawer during his presidency. Bush wore jersey number 2 and was known by his college teammates and classmates as Poppy. He was a slick fielding first baseman who threw left and batted right. In 1947, his batting average was .239, and he usually batted 7th or 8th in the batting order. Later, he would joke that he batted second cleanup. The 1947 Yale team finished 19-10-1 and defeated Clemson and NYU to win the Eastern Championship and advance to the first College World Series in Kalamazoo, Michigan. The opponent was the University of California, with star freshman and eventual 1958 American League MVP Jackie Jensen as their best player. With the commissioner of Major League Baseball, Happy Chandler, in attendance, Jensen's Bears won the best-of-3 series in 2 straight games. As a senior, Bush captained the 48 Yale Ball Club to a 21-9-1 record. He batted .264 and led Yale to another Eastern Championship, with wins over the University of North Carolina and Lafayette. A return trip to Kalamazoo followed, this time to face the University of Southern California. The Trojans nipped Yale in the first game of the best-of-3 series 3-1. The game ended in unusual fashion, as Yale loaded the bases with no outs in the 9th inning, but hit into a game-ending triple play with the future president on deck. The disappointed Bulldogs rebounded to beat USC the next day in Game 2 of the series, but lost in the deciding game. In a December 2013 oral history, Yale teammate Jim Duffus said, "Poppy Bush oozed leadership. He ran the show in a quiet way. If something needed to be said, he would just kind of sidle by and say, 'It's about the team, not you.'" The lifetime of President George H.W. Bush serves as an ideal for all involved in the game of college baseball and sets the standard we look to in naming college baseball's Alumnus of the Year.
Once again, I think thank you to Greg Ramsey and our entire board of trustees. The history and the prestige behind this award certainly speaks for itself. To start learning some more about our Man of the Hour, though, what makes this year's recipient so unique, let's bring out some very special guests from my alma mater and yours as well, the University of Kansas. I'm going to do this in Hoglund ballpark fashion. I'm going to bring them out as if it's the top of the batting order, okay? So make some noise. Let's move it up a little bit here. Batting leadoff for the University of Kansas, our Chancellor, Douglas Gerard. Your athletics director, Travis Goff. KU school history. Let's hear it for Dan Fitzgerald. And back in cleanup, your president of the KU Endowment Association. Let's hear it for Dan Martin. Perspectives on the man of the hour, Forrest Hoglund. And we'll start with you, Chancellor Gerard. You've seen firsthand the many ways the generosity of the Hoglands, Forrest and Sally, has impacted the University of Kansas campus. Firsthand through the Hoglund Brain Imaging Center and the Hoglund Biomedical Imaging Center. Speak to the impact of their generosity campus-wide overall.
I don't think we have all night, and I've got some folks to follow up and to ultimately clean up on some of these comments with Dan Martin. But Forrest having been a local kid and then coming to KU and ultimately marrying another alum and coming from a family of Jayhawks, I can't think of a more true blue Jayhawk. Forrest Hoglund. He's been engaged, obviously, when he was on campus, Army, ROTC, Delta Chi, involved in student government. He just kept that engagement going really throughout his lifetime in so many ways. With the Alumni Association, the Endowment Association, you'll hear about athletics, obviously. But has been involved in helping our university advance our missions in many, many different ways. Obviously, his alma mater, the School of Engineering, but as a medical center really grew. For example, the Hoglund Brain Imaging Center really was a key element in our ability to advance the work that was done in Alzheimer's disease and ultimately to helping us get national designation as an Alzheimer's disease center. And actually now is one of the leading Alzheimer's disease research centers in the United States. And that really would have been happening. I think we have a chance today to see where the new home is going to be for that, which will be even more expanded, and none of that would have happened without you, so we can't thank you enough. And you are changing lives every single day.
Let's skip down to our cleanup hitter to kind of piggyback on some of those comments. Dan Martin, KU Endowment. You've seen the history, some of which predates you, and Dale Seiferling, this leading endowment of Forrest and Sally, hosting numerous fundraisers, galas, the KU First campaign. Talk about some of those initiatives to step up and give back to their alma mater. It's helped in so many ways.
Yeah, the University of Kansas was built by two types of individuals: committed champions and philanthropic partners. And Forrest and Sally certainly exemplify that. We think about the KU First campaign. They traveled the country, went from event to event, raising money for KU. And they asked everyone this question: how can you put KU first? How can you put KU first? They did it, for sure. As they approached the campaign, they asked the university for a complement of projects of which they could choose from and invest in. And it was the Brain Imaging Center that the Chancellor mentioned, leading the way in the campaign by getting out there, being a committed champion, and then certainly leading the way with fun.
What a dynamic duo, right? You have Forrest as a visionary, as a guy that's so positive, and then Sally, we heard from Craig about the coin, if it is to be, it's up to me. Her famous 10 words. She was the determined will to just get it done. You put those two together, that's a winning combination, right, Dan?
That's right, no doubt. Always the optimist.
Dynamic duo, we love it, no doubt. Well, as we transition to the athletic department, Travis Goff, obviously, every time we head to a KU baseball game, we're reminded of Forrest, his career, his generosity. His name graces the stadium of Oakland Ballpark that he helped to make possible back in the 1980s. But Travis, if you could speak to not only his generation after generation of generosity, but also the fact that he started as a third baseman on a hot corner, a team captain back in 1956. This is a guy that helped us as a student athlete, but also made it possible for future student athletes as well.
Yeah, as I look out at that table, Forrest has like a globe behind it, which I think is very fitting with the lights. Gary Padgett to his left, the amazing Sally Hoglund. How about a round of applause? just thankful that there weren't iPhones and social media back in that era, as those three roamed KU's campus. Is that fair for us? We have some different discussions for tonight. My intro to Forrest, he doesn't know this, was my sophomore year at KU. We share the same fraternity, and both my fraternity, Forrest's fraternity, benefited deeply from Forrest's Sally's support, and I knew that as a young person, and made sure you understood that right as a freshman. It wasn't necessarily hazy, but it was elements of being educated. And then in 1999, I had a chance my sophomore year to go with the entire fraternity house to go and celebrate, at that juncture, recent renovation to Hoglund Ballpark. So for me as a young person, it was so impactful to see and understand that there were that type of person in the world who were so selfless with their support, with their obviously generosity, but that served an incredibly important leadership role. So I really think my journey into both college athletics and into philanthropy, quite frankly, were very much framed by Forrest and Sally and their support and my early exposure to that. And every step of the way, whether it be as an alum and having gone away from KU for 17 years, you continue to hear and read about their leadership, as Dan referenced, their generosity, their transformation at KU, in athletics, in healthcare, and so far beyond. And it was inspiring to me. And so now to have a chance to get to know them from this perspective is an incredible honor, and we just love them to death out of our athletic department.
Absolutely. Thank you, Travis. Dan Fitzgerald, now in his third season, your Kansas Jayhawks have accomplished so much over the first 2 months of the year. Recently in first place in the Big 12 standings, recently ranked in all 5 major polls for the first time in over a decade. They're having a heck of a year. And what I'd like to ask you about, Coach Fitz, is early in your tenure, you had a chance to meet this distinguished alumnus, and you learned about his history of giving. And there he was, paying it forward to even the present day Jayhawk generation. What kind of help has he meant to you in your short time as KU head coach?
Forrest has been amazing, and I think part of getting a new job is understanding the history of everything in the program, and you couldn't look anywhere and not see Forrest and Sally's fingerprints all over it. And to have the history of the giving, and then also to know Forrest and to consider him a friend. I mean, he texts me all the time after games, which is really incredible to have that connection. And we really talk about 2 things with our players. I love to say it's a lot more complicated than that, but it really isn't. We talk about 2 things. You have to be an unbelievable teammate, and you have to play incredibly hard. And I point to guys like Forrest and Gary and a bunch of guys that are in this room tonight and point to it's not just on the baseball field that they do this, and to be able to point to someone like Forrest and say, this is what he's done. He was here just like you are in the path that he took and all that he's done. Now, Forrest, I will say there are about 2,000 students in our student section that want to meet you at some point tomorrow, so I can't, it's wild up there right now, but it'd be tough to describe. I've called Forrest many times, and I think every gene somewhere out there, every great coach needs that one arm in the bullpen that you know is always ready to go, and Forrest has always been that. He has been an incredibly steady friend and great example to our guys, and we're very blessed to have him.
Great answer. That kind of leads me right into my follow-up question. I got the scouting report on Forrest Hoglund from his former teammate, Gary Patrick. Gary, where are you at? Give it up for Gary. There he is. He told me back in the day, everybody called Forrest by his nickname, Punky. He'll tell us about that later. And he said what you just said a second ago, consummate teammate. He lifted everybody up. So I was going to ask you, would you recruit a hot corner third baseman by the name of Punky in modern day college baseball? It sounds like if he's that kind of teammate, the answer would be yes.
Absolutely. We model them all after Forrest and Gary now.
The other story Gary Patrick gave me was that Floyd Temple was very different from Fog Allen. Floyd taught the guys how to chew tobacco and let them play poker on the team bus. I don't know if that would fly in the Dan Fitzgerald era. Or what do you make of that? Fogg was very much the opposite. Right, Gary? Good stuff. Well, guys, as we wrap it up, succinctly, if I were to have you each come up with one word to describe the legacy of this man, the generations of Jayhawks he's made a brighter future for with his generosity, what he's meant to his alma mater, academically, athletically, across the board. If you had to bring it to one word, what would it be? And we'll start in reverse order. We'll go with our cleanup headed Thunder Dan here.
I'd say optimism. You know, when he led the KU First campaign, he and Sally, as they led that campaign, we hit the goal. He says, I think you can do more. I think you're capable of doing more. You have capacity to do more. And they raised the goal by 100 million, and we beat it. So optimism.
Great word. Coach Fitz?
Humility. I walked out of our, do a quick pregame meeting right before our game, and I walked out, I think it was last year, and I looked up on the MVP deck, and Forrest was sitting there, and I thought, if I ever go back to a stadium that's named after me, I will let the head coach know that I'm coming. But Forrest didn't. He's just so humble, and yeah, genuinely humble.
Great word. Okay. Travis?
I'm going to go with Midas, King Midas. Everything he touches turns to gold. And I don't mean that from a material perspective at all. I mean that from the sense of the relationships and the connections he builds with people and the way in which those individuals become a better person through the connection with Forrest. And I can also describe the institutions that Forrest and Sally have touched over so many different years and generations. They turn to gold. I think it's really that straightforward and that simple, and we're just also grateful to be beneficiaries of that.
Great example. Okay, positivity, humility, vitals, and Chancellor Gerard closes down.
I think visionary, because you can't do that without having a vision of what can be, right? And I think he's demonstrated that, obviously, in your work with the university, but obviously professionally as well. I mean, you're an incredible visionary, and are usually about 10 steps ahead of the rest of us. And we appreciate that, and we see it every single day, so thank you for us.
All right, how about that? Give it up for our awesome panel from the University of Kansas. Dan Fitzgerald and Dan Martin. Guys, thank you so much. Appreciate it. Well done. Cannot wait to see Coach Fitz and the Jayhawks tomorrow night. Forrest Hoglund will be there. Jayhawks and the Shockers. Coach Stevenson will be there. It's going to be a ton of fun. And then make sure you get your tickets. I know Friday and Saturday are already sold out. But this might be the most heavily anticipated Dillon Sunflower Showdown in the history of the rivalry. Friday through Sunday, Kansas State at Hoglund Ballpark. Looking forward to it. All right, our next group of panelists might have a different perspective on Mr. Hoglund. Most people in this room see the businessman and the philanthropist, but these individuals had a chance to see him in a way that nobody else has, as dad. Please welcome Forrest Hoglund's daughters, Kelly Compton, Shelly D., and Christy Robinson.
Nervous.
Yeah, this is going to be fun. We're going to get some behind-the-scenes insights into what he was like as a father and husband and all that, but maybe a few good stories along the way, too. I think in talking with you three ladies, a couple of weeks ago, the overarching theme that I picked up on was the amazing juggling act that both your dad and your mom did to pursue this amazing career as a highly successful businessman, but also a really great family man too. And so we're going to talk about that over the next 15 minutes, but why don't we start, and I'll open it up to all three of you, with some favorite Forrest stories from your childhood. I heard about trips to Colorado hiking, I heard about the softball coach, heard about all kinds of nicknames, but why don't we just start with your favorite childhood memories of your dad?
I'm happy to start. We went every Copenhagen and drive up to Creede, Colorado. And we did that every year. And my dad and I did one thing, and it was only the two of us every time. Do you remember what that is? We would climb to the top of this mountain before breakfast. We'd get up right at 7 o'clock or something and climb up to the top of this mountain, come down, and people would still be asleep. And it was just the two of us, always. There was never anyone who did that. It was really a fun thing, and it really made me just love to climb mountains after that.
And since tonight is about celebrating your dad, for the purposes of the story, it was Pikes Peak, that was the mountain. They were back before breakfast. This guy's incredible, let me tell you. Other stories and memories from the childhood of your father and your mom, and the dynamic of the two together.
Well, I think one of the things that comes to mind is we moved about every 3 years, which was a pretty unusual situation. So we had to be best of friends, and we had to get along with our parents when you're moving to new towns all the time. So we were very blessed that we got the experience of trying new towns and new places, but most importantly, it made the five of us very close. When we first moved to a new town, the three of us had to be best of friends for a long time, and then we spent lots of time with our family. So those years of moving that much were very, very formative for us. And I think we've stayed incredibly close because of that. And now it is such a blessing to be able to see it in our children, that even though they don't live in the same towns, really haven't for the most part, and now that we have great-grandchildren also for my parents, that we're all still very, very close, and that is a blessing, and we have a lot of fun together, so I think that's an important part of it. And I think the other thing we have to mention is this is the dynamic duo. We don't talk about Dad without talking about Mom, because we all know there's a reason we call her Sal Commander. He is the one that made it work behind the scenes. So he was the one. To give you any idea, one year for Christmas, we gave her a bullhorn for her Christmas present, and it was indicative. So they are the team, and he could not have done what he did without her. And we're very blessed to have both of them.
Sal Commander.
It's
Did you bring the bullhorn? We'll save that for the after party. Christy, what's the expression, "Oh, from the mouths of babes"? I love the story of the innocence of you three. Your dad is the VP of a worldwide natural gas and liquids corporation called Exxon, and yet when they were kids, they thought Daddy was going off to work at a gas station. That's what they thought. Describe, your view of your.
Well, we grew up and he worked for Esso, and on every single corner was an Esso gas station. And Mom would say Dad's at work, and we just assumed he was pumping gas at the Esso on the corner. So we grew up until Esso changed to Exxon. We thought he worked at a gas station. Great.
Dad's pumping gas. Truth be told, he was a lot farther away than around the corner pumping gas. That's where the dynamic of co-parenting and the Sal Commander enters in. There were a lot of times when he was traveling for business, but such an attentive father. He would write you guys letters and postcards from where he was at. Give us a peek behind the curtain of those stories.
Well, he was head of Exxon Middle East at that point in time, so he would go away for longer trips on that. But while he was gone, he would send back letters to us with homework assignments that would say, when I get back from, I want you to be able to tell me this, 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 and this. And we did, no doubt. But the other part that was really fun was while he was gone, all bets were off. So Mom for dinner, usually we would have pancakes or something like that, maybe with a tablespoon of a vegetable on the side. And we just had our own little world when he was gone, but we felt like we got a chance to see the world through their eyes when they traveled. Egypt, Saudi Arabia, all these different places that we weren't going to have a chance to visit, but we got to experience it through them.
Shelly and Christy, I know we're both softball players, and you can speak to your dad as a softball coach. We've heard about his baseball playing days, but When you shared some thoughts with me a couple of weeks ago, you mentioned how encouraging he was to pursue whatever dream you had. Don't let gender biases get in the way, and especially encouraging on the field of play as one of your coaches. Tell us about that.
Well, I think he really wished he had a son.
We knew that.
So Christy and I were very involved in softball for years and years, and played hard and did all kinds of competition, and he would be our coach, and even, you know, because he was working hard, but he showed up. He definitely showed up, and he was the coach, and
You made us practice.
yes, he practiced, and, I mean, neither of us became particularly good, but it was, you know, we wouldn't have done it if it wasn't for him encouraging us from the sidelines.
Yeah, I think the two daughters were born. They knew that I was going to be the last. There was a chance he wanted a boy. And then I came out and had a softball glove on my hand from 6 years old on. I mean, we played elementary, middle school, high school. He coached, he was there, loved it. So he didn't get his boy, but he got a little bit of sports.
You know, in talking with Forrest prior to tonight, one quote that echoes in my mind ever since our conversation, he said, "The best financial decision I ever made was starting our foundation with my three daughters." And so, Kelly, I'd love to have you speak to what an amazing opportunity and fulfilling experience it's been to collaborate with your folks on this. And then, if you would, enlighten us on the huge impact you guys have been able to make.
Oh, I'd be happy to. The parents came and talked to us after they'd done some estate planning and took great delight in telling us instead of having a will, they were going to have I won't. And that meant we weren't going to leave you all this money, that we are going to have you give it away to other people. And it took us a little while. We really didn't know what a foundation was at that point. We had been brought up with philanthropy in a basic sense, but really didn't understand it. And it has absolutely been the best decision for our family, because we're now into the third generation that are excited about it. They've learned how to efficiently and effectively give away money. We have allocations set up for where the kids can give amounts, we can give amounts, but the majority of it is decided by the group as a whole. And one of the key things we've learned through this is we get to spend the time together, and we've had various retreats. And one of our favorite ones was back in 2018. We asked each of the individual board members, including the junior board members, to say what were the lessons learned from Forrest and Sally Hoglund by working as a family and through the foundation. And it was just remarkable, the stories that came out and the messages that came out that had been transferred down. Our favorite one is that you've already heard, is the 10 two-letter words. If it is to be, it's up to me. And every one of the grandkids has that etched in their heart. But it was very basic ones always. Also other ones like always make sure you have friends to count on and friends of all ages. Give back to your community and such. So what it's done for the community is exciting. We've been very focused in education and family support services. We literally started not knowing what we were going to do, what our areas of interest were going to be and such. And 30 plus years later, we've worked together and really have the mission of what we want the foundation to be, and to see our children, my parents' grandchildren, embrace it and it be such an important part of their lives. There are no words to express how grateful we are for that opportunity.
Really well said. Thank you, Kelly. As you can see, she held it up. It kind of looks like a passport, but hold those up again. These are the lessons learned books, and I asked each of these ladies to pick one or two of their favorite quotes. We heard Kelly's. Let's hear from Shelley.
So I have two, and one is be optimistic. And so all of these quotes were compiled by 10 grandkids and the 3 daughters. And this one was, they are eternal optimists. They don't seem to ever be overwhelmed by negative situations and continue to look forward to the future. It's a remarkable attribute to find in one person, let alone two. Me. And I believe it.
Self-promotion.
Yes, and the second one was not from me, it was from two of the grandkids. That family tradition is important. And, you know, I lived overseas for 22 years, and so my kids didn't have as much interaction with some of the other grandkids. So these family traditions were really important. We did come back every Christmas. You know, both Tucker and Diana had something to say about it. Tucker said, it's my favorite time of the year for getting together at Christmas, especially for grandmother's stuffing. And then Mom also is a bit of a collector, and Diana said, you can never have enough nativity sets. Walking around their home at Christmas is like going through a religious version of the Disney World ride. It's a small world.
Great quotes. Christy, how about you? What were your favorites?
Okay, so we did a Hoglund family values, and I know you've seen those word clouds where the word that means the most to your family or your business or whatever is the biggest, and then, you know, smaller aside. And these, we had the 10 grandkids, the 3 of us, Mom and Dad, and these are our Hoglund family values. Family, service, education, integrity, growth, compassion, freedom, and love. So there were 13 of us who came up with, or 15 of us, who came up with our family, the Hoglund family's family values. So we all just kind of live by that. It's what's important to everybody. I would say for me personally, one of the things my dad taught me in college was make a decision and stick with it. Like none of this wishy-washy, well, what if, or what, or how, or could. You make a decision, you stick with it, and you move on. So, move on.
That's fabulous. I'll tell you what, I don't know about you guys, I'm inspired to do this with my family now. What a neat tradition. Thank you ladies so much for sharing that. Anything else you'd like to close with as a tribute to your father and your mother? Any final words here? The floor is yours as we celebrate your dad, yes, but as we know, this is a true partnership, a dynamic duo, Forrest and the Sal Commander.
Well, I guess the thing, he still amazes us. They both amaze us, that they're at this age and still productive. He's in the office every day with us. I can only wish at their age that I'm as productive and happy. And what? You're alive. Oh, I'm alive, yes. We'll leave it at that. I want to be alive. Yes, it's so true.
You can tell the Sal Commander doesn't need a bullhorn to chime in. She's right to think of it. I love it, Sal. I love it.
I would say I've been married 34 years. These guys have been married 69 years. I know, and it's not always easy. And look, I mean, they're great. They really, I'm sure that's why they're still having fun, is because they're both supporting each other through the thick and thin.
It just seemed like such a fun couple. If y'all see the photo, she's sitting on his lap holding the Miller Lite. They just got really biggest smiles you've ever seen on their faces. They seem like two folks I'd love to hang out with. Christy, close us down.
That's what I would say. They are so fun. I mean, when you would rather be with your 90-year-old parents than most of your friends, and then my excuse is like, oh, I can't. I got to take Mom and Dad tonight somewhere. You know, because I want to, because they're so much fun. So it's just been a blessing, seriously, from day one. I did laugh for 1 minute when somebody in one of the videos said something about maybe Dad was either going to go into politics or baseball or whatever. And I remember one time him telling me I could never go into politics with the history of you 3 girls they would dig up. So I was like, yeah, that's probably a smart move, Dad.
And on that note, we're out of time. Ladies, thank you so much. know, in a baseball game, when the pitching coach takes a long, slow saunter out to the mound and then has an elongated conversation to buy some time because they're warming up an arm in the pen, so he's just kind of stretching it out a little bit. That's what I'm doing right now because I want those three ladies to be back in their seats for our next presentation. This is really special stuff. We just heard from Forrest and Sally's children. Up next, you get to hear from the grandchildren. An even more special point of view. This is a surprise video we have from the grandchildren. So this is me doing my best slow saunter to the pitcher's mound so the ladies can get into position and take a look at this very special video from Forrest's grandchildren.
Hey, Granddad, it's all of your favorite grandkids, and we're here to celebrate you tonight. And so we just wanted to share some fun memories about you and let everyone know how much we love you. So I'll start and then pass it around so that everyone can say something. So I just wanted to tell the room and to let them know how you think that a man that was being honored tonight in the College Baseball Hall of Fame would be the epitome of grit, athleticism, and health and wellness that fueled his whole career. But no, not my grandfather. The one that you are honoring tonight had one major weakness, and that weakness was pink snowballs. And so this Hall of Famer that you are all honoring today wasn't fueled by the normal athletic diet of protein shakes or Gatorade. The one that's in front of you dove around the field eating pink, fluffy, neon pink coconut covered marshmallow cakes, the same ones that you would find in the aisle next to Twinkies. So I'll pass it along to my cousins to better understand the man behind the legend, but just wanted you all to know that his legendary career was filled by pink artificial coconut treats. Love you.
Hey, Granddad, congrats on yet another awesome honor. It's been so inspiring and awesome to watch you pick up various kind of business and philanthropic financial and philanthropic accolades. And so congrats again here. And it's cool to see your baseball journey start from, growing up playing to playing at Kansas, getting drafted by the Yankees, and now ultimately being honored by, the Baseball Hall of Fame. So congrats so much. What an awesome journey.
Hey, Granddad, it's Rachel here from your home away from home on Southwest Airlines, as you're always between Dallas and Houston. Just wanted to say congratulations, how much we love you. You always taught me that life begins at the end of your comfort zone, to get out there and go meet new people, even when it's uncomfortable and you don't want to, but it's always proven well worthwhile in my life. So congratulations, another well-deserved award.
Hey, Granddad. I'm here, and on behalf of Chris, who couldn't make it, and myself, just congrats on this award. It's awesome. And you're clearly living the thing that you love to tell us all the time, which is, if it is to be, it is up to me. And yeah, you've clearly done a lot, and it's a huge inspiration. Love you.
Hi, Granddad. I just wanted to say congrats again on behalf of all of us. You've raised, I think, a whole family of KU fans around here, regardless of where we ended up. You are maybe the best of anyone I've ever met at really instilling passion in the things that you love and the others around you. And I think all of us are a testament to that. So we all just are so thrilled that you're getting this award that's, like everyone has said, so well deserved, and wish you all the best and love you so much, Granddad.
Hey, Granddaddy. Congratulations on your award. I really want to acknowledge your outstanding character, for which I know is the foundation for all of your remarkable success in business and your charity work. I admire the respect you give to everybody that you meet, the professionalism you've always had that I've always seen throughout my life, and your lighthearted personality. I love you so much, and congratulations.
Hey, Granddad, congrats on the Hall of Fame. So proud of you. And, when I think about all the incredible things that you've passed on to our generation and that I've learned from you, it's certainly your humor and your lightheartedness, like Diana mentioned. Unfortunately, didn't get the same baseball swing, didn't get passed down. or really any other athletic feats. But thank you so much for just your generosity and your kindness, and congratulations to you and Grandmom again on such an incredible Hall of Fame award.
Hi, Granddaddy. We just all wanted to get together to support you on this very prestigious night. For how much you support all 10 of us, we in return wanted to support you. So congratulations, and we love y'all.
Hi, Granddad. Just wanted to call in and say congratulations. It's been such a privilege and an honor to get to celebrate you both in Lawrence and now virtually with the rest of the family. You know, just we're just so proud of you, and just thinking back to seeing you on the court at Allen Fieldhouse in front of thousands of people that know you and that know you for your character and for all that you've done both for the Jayhawk community and just the greater communities around you. It's really something special that we've all been so honored and privileged to get to watch. So we're proud of you, and we're proud of Grandma. Love you.
And we all have just one more thing to say.
Rock
Special trophy that we have to support over here because it weighs 80 pounds. What an incredible trophy. We've got our College Baseball Foundation CEO and President Tom Jacobs, Craig Ramsey of our board, and also to say a few words about Forrest Hoglund, tonight's winner, we have Rick Greenspan.
Thank you. It's my profound honor to share in the recognition and celebration of Forrest's many achievements and contributions. I represent the majority of former college baseball players whose career ended with their last pitch or their last at bat. Most of us proudly remember the camaraderie, our teammates, our coaches, and the special moments that college baseball provided to us. We hope to enter the business world utilizing the competitiveness and discipline that we learned from college baseball and make a lasting and positive contribution to society. Few players have made a more meaningful contribution than Forrest. So tonight, as we make this presentation, Mr. Hoglund, please join me in thanking him for serving as a role model for college baseball. And off the cuff, perhaps most importantly, to have your children and your grandchildren hold you in the light that they hold him is the greatest honor I think any man can possibly have. So now, Tom, if you would present the Hall of Fame ring to Forrest.
Well said, we appreciate it. Once again, Rick, Tom, and Craig, thank you so much. I'm going to steal Forrest Hoglund and have a little conversation. Forrest, congratulations. How about this? Special jersey in the baseball I gave him for his 90th. Clark Kent needed a phone booth to change into Superman. He just ripped his jacket off and put the jersey on while you guys were clapping. That was impressive stuff. That was impressive. Well, Forrest, this is meant to be kind of a Forrest Hoglund, this is your life theme here tonight. But in the 15 minutes they've given us, let's pick up your story since we had the outstanding Paseo Jazz combo here earlier, your high school alma mater. Tell me about young Forrest, growing up around these parts, the three-sport star that you are back in those days, and the path that led you on at Paseo High School to start your collegiate career at William Jewell.
Is that on? Yeah. Okay, well, I mean, growing up in Kansas City, wasn't much to do but play baseball. Football, basketball, whatever. So that was a big thing for me growing up. I lettered my first year as a sophomore, played defensive halfback at 135 pounds. That wasn't too bright, but anyway, that was the starting one, and I really loved athletics, every bit of it. Yeah.
So you started William Jewell, but in 1954 you come to Kansas. What led you to becoming a Jayhawk?
Well, first of all, why did I go to William Jewell? I just couldn't give up sports. And I knew I probably wasn't 7 foot 2 inches tall and had a 2 foot vertical leap. So I probably wouldn't play basketball in Kansas. So I just had to go to William Jewell, and it was a football powerhouse because they had a cheating scandal at West Point, and about 5 of their players came to William Jewell, and we had one hell of a team. But that was fun. But I always knew I was going to KU. That was just a 1-year deal, and then KU was it from the very, very start. There wasn't any question what was going to happen.
Tell me what it was like playing for Floyd Temple. Tell me about KU baseball back in the 1950s.
Well, my first year I couldn't play because, they didn't have the transfer rule like they have now. But they wanted me to keep working out with the team. Actually, I saved my life one day playing baseball on the practice field. There was a guy named Galen Phipps who played linebacker. He was all-pro about 10 years with Cleveland. And he played baseball and football. And so, we would play out there and everything. And one day I was thinking about walking on as a defensive halfback in the football team. I happened to be in the shower with Galen Phipps, about 6'3", about 235. And I looked and I thought, I don't think so. I don't think so. That doesn't look very smart. So I stayed away from that. Thank heaven. That saved my life.
So you showered with Galen Phipps, but you played basketball, I understand, with Will Chamberlain. Of course, as a freshman back then, he couldn't play on the team, so there was an intramural all-star game. What was it like going up against Will Stilt?
Well, that was a little bit of fun because since he was not eligible, nor any other freshmen were eligible, what they did is pick an intramural all-star team to play against the varsity. Allen Fieldhouse had just opened, absolutely full for the freshman game. Everybody wanted to see Will. Well, we thought we were kind of studly, you know, didn't know what it would be like. So we had a guy go over in the corner and did a fadeaway jump shot. Will jumps up and catches it. He doesn't block it. He catches it in one hand, comes down, he's faster than anybody on the court. He whips the pass behind his back. Guy grabbed it, shot it. Will could see it wasn't going in, and he just, boom. Guess what? They changed the rule right then. They knew they couldn't let that happen, so they changed that rule that was not an old anymore. So we learned quite a bit about how great he really was.
What a time to be a student athlete at the University of Kansas. And as I alluded to earlier when we were talking about Gary Padgett, your teammate, Floyd Temple was the coach. He did things maybe a little bit differently than Fog Allen when it came to chewing tobacco and playing cards on the bus. But what were some of your fondest memories of Coach Temple in those days as a Jayhawk?
He was a third baseman too, so we would just love take about 20 minutes every day and just hit fungo as hard as we could at each other, see what damage we could do. And so we had a lot of fun doing that. But he did kind of get a little more lenient when you got older. Check the bus up there, and he'd come around and whisper, "I know you guys are going out and have a beer," he said, "but don't let the freshmen and sophomores go."
I like it.
So anyway, that was Floyd.
And you were at third base. Gary was your shortstop. Pretty awesome left side of the infield right there. I bet no balls ever got through.
We thought they were.
What was he like as a teammate back then? You guys had a pretty special bond. What was he like as a teammate?
Yeah, he's been a great friend for, I don't know, a long, long time.
So you finish up your Kansas career. You had the opportunity to join the Yankees farm system, sign and play pro ball. But you elected to pursue your business career instead. Let's pick up the story there. Talk about that decision and what ensued.
It really wasn't that hard a decision. I could have gone to play Class A for the Yankees. By the way, back then, Class A for the Yankees meant you made about $50 a month, and you rode in school buses around these little towns to play. I was just getting married to some woman in Kansas, and I somehow didn't think she was going to think too much of riding in school buses and making $50 a month. So anyway, I decided not to do that, thank heavens. In fact, I remember when we gave the money and dedicated Hoglund Ballpark, I told them that, you know, if I'd gone to play for the Yankees, you'd have never had a stadium. So anyway.
So good, so good. Well, that's some woman you've been married to now for 69 years. I didn't plan this, but in hearing your daughters talk about it, I gotta ask, first off, how'd you meet? And secondly, what's the secret to a happy marriage for 69 years to this lovely woman?
Well, we both say that, you know, we've been married 69 years. We've each had 6 good years, but they're not the same years. So anyway, but there is one secret, and that is that we lived in Houston and Dallas. So anyway, no, I'm just kidding. It's been a wonderful marriage. She's just been awesome. So we get along great together, still do. So 69 and counting.
And in talking with Dale Seiferling about the dynamic duo that you two form, your positivity, her relentless determination to get it done. If it is to be, it's up to me. Speak to the partnership you've had, not just in marriage and as parents, but in philanthropy and in making this profound impact. It's become an unbelievable legacy.
Well, you know, just start out doing things and it just kind of grows, as you know, so you don't know what you're going to end up doing. But you grab something, you get a hold of it, you make it, you know, you do something else and go. So that's really how we got started, and we started that foundation. And we did make one decision. We decided we were going to have more money than we needed to live. And we had also decided that we weren't particularly into buying ranches and doing all this, that we really would like to help other people They looked at us like we were crazy at first. It's been a wonderful thing, though. They grabbed hold of it, they run it. They've just done wonderful things with it. Absolutely best financial decision I ever made. Absolutely probably best family decision, too. It's been a wonderful thing for all of us.
That's really special. And we're going to hear more about that legacy here in just a bit. But first off, for a couple of minutes, tell us about the Hall of Fame career you had. I can list off all the accolades and all the amazing titles, but what are you most proud of from your time in earning this reputation as the successful businessman you are?
Well, there are several things I'm proud of, really. I was, just a young engineer coming out of KU and going to work with Exxon. They had all those big guys doing petroleum engineering out of the University of Texas and Oklahoma and all that. And we had a big engineering kind of class school that everybody had to go to. And I ended up number one in the class, which was, I didn't get too bad an education at KU. Actually, I got a pretty good one. So that was a good thing. So I just kept rising up the ladder at Exxon and became the youngest VP they ever had. But the longer I was there, I got less satisfied because you were getting so high that it was like pushing with spaghetti to get anything done. And so when I had a chance to leave and go to the small company, Texas Oil and Gas, which was a high-flying company, I was glad to do that. And, left Exxon, even though they kind of had touted me, maybe it was running it one day. But that didn't excite me too much. So we took this small company and built it and really had a good run. And ended up merging with U.S. Steel, of all people. Oil and gas company merger. We got 52% of the stock. It was like a merger of equals. Except it was kind of funny. They had 120,000 retirees, and we had 26. So it wasn't exactly the same. But once again, they were kind of touting me as maybe kind of taking over that company even. But that's the last thing I wanted. I was right back in a big company. And I didn't want to do that. So anyway, I got another job when Ken Lay of Enron in fame, I guess, came and asked me to take their oil and gas company public. Okay, finally worked out something where I made arrangement. I learned a few things about being a little bit older that kind of helped at times. Ken Lay asked me to go on the board of Enron, and I was going to take part of it public, so I thought it was a conflict of interest. He said, no. If it comes up on the board and it's not Enron oil and gas, you just don't vote. You'll get along fine. If I'd been about 3 years younger, I don't think I would have turned away. I was turning down probably a couple $100,000 a year and all that. So I finally said, no, Ken, I don't think so. So I really ended up being anti-Enron. I ran the company where I had no Enron kind of influence, basically. In it, no human relations, employee relations, or anything else. Pretty nice company. When I first came in, it was probably worth about $400 million. I left the day we got it out of Enron as a private, separate company. That was about 2 years before they went bankrupt. Today the company is worth $70 billion. Has a free cash flow of about $6 billion a year, and no debt. So pretty nice little company as it's grown, and they still credit me with having a lot of the kind of culture that was established in the company, and even with 3 other people running it, they haven't changed any of that. How about that?
Your astounding success in business puts you in position to be the incredible philanthropist that you touched on. The foundation you started with your family and what that's meant to you. You guys have given to countless organizations, millions upon millions of dollars to benefit so many. But in addition to the charitable organizations, there's also been one particular institution you've given so much to. Your time, your talents, and your resources to your alma mater, the University of Kansas, across your chest. Tell me why you love this place so much and why you and your lovely wife chose to give so much back to KU.
Go Jayhawks! That's easy now. We both thought so much of it when we got out, and we kind of, when we went to work with Exxon, when we were down in the little towns and all that and everything, we'd like to keep up with what was going on with KU, and was really interested in it from the standpoint when we got into really being able to help, and it just kind of built with time. I always remember one day getting a call, and they talked about doing away with the baseball program in Kansas. That's when Title IX came in, and it was a tough time for everybody. And the athletic director at that time told me, we're going to have to get rid of it and take it out. I said, I don't think we're going to do that. So we got enough guys together, and we saved the baseball program. And look what it's doing today.
That's right.
And I don't know how Dan can ever teach anybody to hit 5 home runs in a row.
They've already hit 76 home runs, and today's April the 14th. That's a new school record, and we still have a month and a half to go. So if you were on the hot corner today, you think you'd fall right in line with the rest of these guys? Swinging for left field, double-digit homers.
I might get it to the morning track.
Okay. Hey, morning track power, that dog will hunt. That'll get the run across, no doubt. No doubt. We're so grateful for all of your generosity, not just to Kansas Athletics, but the entire university. You and Sally have meant so much.
Fabulous school, doing so great. Such a great chancellor, great, athletic department in all the respects. So anyway, what is there not to like about KU?
Completely agree. And
by the way, one of those grandsons you saw happened to go to the school with the purple mascot.
Oh, Northwestern?
Wildcat. And for a long time we were having a hard time deciding if he really was a grandson. But it really was Northwestern, it wasn't K-State.
There we go. There we go. Good deal. Well, in just a second, I've got a special surprise for you that the College Baseball Foundation worked on. Before we do that, though, in hearing so many people talk about you tonight, and they're all echoing the same thing about this innate positivity, this trait that's just an unbelievable attribute because of its consistency and its infectious and contagious positivity and the optimism of this man. Before we get to this special video, I just want to know, where did this come from? Was this instilled in you from an early age? Was it something you were born with? How did you become such a positive guy?
I think you need to first of all think about maybe that's not positive.
How so?
You're a daydreamer, and you all think everything's rosy all the time. You may not exactly understand everything, but I think we balanced it pretty well. Anyway, it's a good thing to think. I mean, if you think you can't do it, you're not going to do it, obviously. You think you can do it, well, you got a chance of doing it. So anyway, let's go for it.
I like it. I like it. Well, for the guy who almost always wears a smile, we've got a little surprise up our sleeve that's sure to make you smile next. You already heard from the grandchildren and your daughters, but here's one more special opinion on our special honoree tonight. Direct your attention to the screen down here for us. The rest of you can look to the videos to my right and left. A special message for tonight's honoree.
Greetings to everyone gathered in Overland Park to honor my friend Forrest Hoglund. My father would be delighted to know that Forrest is receiving the George H.W. Bush Distinguished Alumnus Award. They share a love of our country, of community, and college baseball. Forrest has demonstrated his patriotism by supporting important causes in Kansas and in Texas and all across America. He's always been a loyal Jayhawk. Congratulations from my entire family, Forrest. We thank the College Baseball Hall of Fame for honoring you, and we hope you all have a wonderful evening.
How'd that make you feel?
Yeah, that was great. It's kind of fun to think about this award because I actually knew George H.W. Bush pretty well. I was chairman of MD Anderson Cancer Center, and up for anything. He just went, absolutely no, I won't do it. I'll just work my way in, and he did. Scraps was a great chairman and so on. So he was a wonderful, wonderful man, and a hell of a baseball player too.
No doubt, no doubt. Well, as we close it down, we talked a lot about your accolades, your impact, all of that. We talked about what you're most proud of from your time in the business realm and what you're most proud of as a family man and starting the foundation with your daughters and your wife. But when you speak to legacy, what do you most want to be remembered for? And when it comes to your legacy, what are you most proud of?
Oh, that basically he thought he could get it done, and he somehow managed to do it, and tried to do it with integrity, and feel good about my entire business career, and the fact that I had some tough kind of times and with Enron and all that, but got through all that in great fashion, really. So anyway, that's probably the biggest part of it. But the greatest part of my life is really with my family. How great is that? So 3 daughters, a great, unbelievable wife of 69 years, and all these grandkids, and 3 greats.
Forrest, I think I speak for everybody at the University of Kansas and everybody with the College Baseball Foundation. You represent Kansas so well. You represent college baseball so well. This is the definition of using your platform to give back and to pour into future generations of college baseball players, future generations of student athletes, and just students in general. Thank you from the bottom of our hearts for representing us so well. And congratulations on the highest honor the College Baseball Foundation passes out, the George H.W. Distinguished Alumni Award. Thanks again. One last round of applause for Forrest Hoglund. Thanks so much for pouring into college baseball, to the College Baseball Foundation. We're so excited about the permanent home coming right here to Kansas City and Overland Park. We want you to be a part of that as well. Thank you again. Rock Chalk Jayhawk, and have a wonderful night.